Kutsenko, acting as observer, whispered corrections and warnings. Movement, left of the large boulder, 200 meters, he's searching. Then, disaster struck. A well-aimed German mortar round, likely called in by the Pin Patrol, slammed into the rocks 20 meters to their right, when he flew over Rabaul with no tracer bullets, until 6 Japanese fighters fell in just 8 minutes. It sounds impossible. In World War II, pilots depended on tracer bullets. They glowed red in the sky and showed where the guns were firing. Without them, many pilots believed you were blind. So when this American pilot removed every tracer round from his plane, others laughed. They said he would miss. They said he would die. They said it was foolish. But on November 2, 1943, high above the jungle-covered island of New Britain, something happened that shocked both sides of the war. In just 8 minutes, 6 enemy planes were destroyed. No warning. No glowing bullets. No escape. What happened next would become one of the smartest air combat lessons of World War II. World War II was not fought in one place. It was fought across oceans, deserts, forests, and skies. In the Pacific Ocean, the war was between the United States and Japan. Japan had taken control of many islands and built powerful military bases on them. One of the strongest bases was Rabaul. Rabaul was located on the island of New Britain, near Papua New Guinea. It had multiple airfields, hundreds of fighter planes, heavy anti-aircraft guns, tens of thousands of Japanese soldiers. American pilots feared Rabaul. Many called it the Hornet's Nest. Flying there meant danger from every direction, enemy fighters above, flak from below, and nowhere safe to land. But Rabaul had to be stopped. If it wasn't, Japanese planes would continue attacking Allied ships and soldiers across the Pacific. So the Americans planned repeated air attacks. And that meant pilots had to fly straight into hell. The plane used for this mission was the Lockheed P-38 Lightning. It looked different from other planes. It had 2 engines, 2 long booms, and a cockpit in the middle. The P-38 was fast. It could climb high. It could fly long distances over ocean. Most importantly, it was heavily armed. In its nose were 4.50 caliber machine guns, 1 20mm cannon, all firing straight ahead. But normally, those guns used tracer bullets. Tracer bullets helped pilots aim, but they also showed the enemy exactly where the attack was coming from. And Japanese pilots were very good at watching tracers. The Japanese Mitsubishi A6M0 was one of the most feared fighters early in the war. It was very light, extremely maneuverable, able to turn tighter than most American planes. Japanese pilots were well trained and confident. But the Zero had weaknesses. It had very little armor, no self-sealing fuel tanks. If hit, it often caught fire. So surprise mattered. The pilot in this story understood that better than anyone. Over months of combat, American pilots noticed something strange. When they fired tracer bullets, Japanese planes often dodged before being hit. The tracers gave them warning. So a few pilots experimented. They removed tracers. Only regular bullets. No glow. No warning. Most pilots were scared to try it. But one pilot believed in it completely. He trusted his aim. He trusted his training. And he trusted surprise. Others mocked him. Until Rabaul. The mission began early. American planes climbed into the sky as the sun rose. The ocean below was calm. The jungle was dark green. At 25,000 feet, the pilots could see Rabaul in the distance. Smoke from earlier bombing still rose from the harbor. Radio reports came in. Enemy planes were taking off. Then more. Then even more. By 9:12 a.m., over 30 Japanese Zeros were climbing to intercept. The sky was about to explode. The air battle began suddenly. Planes rushed past each other at hundreds of miles per hour. Gunfire echoed. Engines roared. Smoke and fire filled the sky. The pilot with no tracers stayed high. He watched. He waited. Then he saw his chance. Several Zeros were focused on another American plane. They were not looking up. He dove. Fast. At the perfect moment, he fired. No glow. No warning. The first Zero exploded. Seconds later, the second. Japanese pilots shouted in confusion. I didn't see him. Where did that come from? Fear spread. The pilot did not slow down. One clean attack. Then climb. Then another dive. At 9:25, the third Zero fell. At 9:26, the fourth. Japanese pilots were panicking now. They fired wildly. They broke formation. Some tried to flee. But two Zeros turned straight toward him. He waited. He fired. Both were destroyed. 6 planes. 8 minutes. The sky fell silent. His fuel was low. His ammo was almost gone. It was time to leave, or die. The pilot pushed his engines to the limit and flew away. The Zeros tried to follow, but couldn't catch him. Back at base, ground crews stared in disbelief. 6 victories. 1 mission. No tracers. The laughter stopped. Soon, many pilots asked for tracer-free ammo. The lesson was clear. Surprise saves lives. Rabaul never recovered. The base was slowly surrounded and ignored, cut off from supplies. The pilot's idea changed air combat thinking. Not through strength. Not through luck. But through intelligence. One idea. One decision. 8 minutes. History was changed. In war, heroes are not always the loudest. They are not always the strongest. Sometimes, they are the ones who think differently, and stay calm when fear fills the sky. High above Rabaul, with no glowing bullets to guide him, one pilot trusted himself. And the enemy never saw him coming. This was just one of countless untold stories from the Second World War. Subscribe to our channel as we continue to bring these forgotten chapters of history back to life.